We've got some respected journalists who are talking about who's in and who's out. And two of the names that are popping up on a regular basis are James Ward-Prowse, out, and Trent Alexander-Arnold. Now, none of this is factual. None of this is confirmed. These are from fellow journalist sources that we work alongside in the game. Like I said, it will all be confirmed tomorrow by Gareth Southgate himself, and you'll hear it here on talkSPORT. But the rumours are, the strong rumours are, that the 7 that are going to miss out are Ramsdale, White, Godfrey, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Ward-Prowse, Saka, and Watkins. The name that jumps off that page is Trent Alexander-Arnold, because we know that we've got a plethora of fantastic right-backs, pal. I mean, he's spoilt for choice in that particular position. And Trent maybe wasn't in the best of form earlier on in the season and therefore was omitted from a couple of squads. But since the turn of the year, and this is, again, just my own personal opinion, I think he's been absolutely mustard. I think he's been brilliant. Liverpool have got their act together at the back end of the season. They managed to get top 4 by finishing third. Who'd have thought that a couple of months back? And I think Trent Alexander-Arnold has been imperative to the success of that run. I think he's in absolutely bang-on form. He could not have done any more to catch the attention of the England manager. And by these reports, again, I just want to reiterate, it's not confirmed yet. It will be tomorrow, though. And if it is confirmed that Trent Alexander-Arnold has missed out, I think he's been incredibly unlucky, mate.
He's been unlucky, but it wouldn't surprise you. You mentioned his form at the latter part of the season. He missed Virgil van Dijk immeasurably right at the start because he was his security blanket, wasn't he, beside him? If he was marauding forward, Van Dijk could just sort of slide across, or he'd say to Trent, "Oi, get yourself back." You know what I mean? So he misses. Then with Jurgen Klopp playing midfielders at centre half and the back four wasn't settled. So if you look, Liverpool's recent winning run they've been on is because they've had 2 proper centre halves playing, Williams and Phillips, right?
And Fabinho's been able to play midfield, who does a lot of the covering.
But he's had that stable back four, which has helped him as well, right? So he has been playing better. But then you would say Kyle Walker's had an excellent season overall, not just the last half part of the season.
I think he's been even better second half of the season, Kyle Walker.
Right.
I think he's been brilliant.
But you can also play as the right-sided of a 3 of the centre half. So so Kyle Walker is a absolute Shay Given, isn't he? He's in, right?
Yeah, okay.
Trippier has had an excellent season for Atletico through the whole season, and they've won La Liga. And he left him out before, and he's worked his way back into the squad.
Yeah.
So I think they're your 2. Then it's between Alexander-Arnold. There seems to be it's an outrage over Trent. No one's not saying that he's not a very talented and gifted footballer. Sometimes I think defensively he ball watches. And sometimes we saw it when they played Man City, where Raheem Sterling gave him a torrid time, didn't he? Where he couldn't actually handle him. Couldn't handle him 1v1. I think he switches off. I think sometimes he tries to hit too many wonder balls or weldies, you know, like a right back who's sort of playing as a midfield player-ish, you know?
Yeah.
And you look at Reece James's performance over the season, and especially on Saturday, where him and Chilwell were absolutely, all the Chelsea players were 8 out of 10s, to be fair. And there was a couple of 9s in there. Mm-hmm. And Reece James recently has been playing as the right-sided centre-half for Chelsea. Yeah. There's Piliqueta in front of him.
Yeah.
So I think, I don't think Alexander-Arnold is going to make, I think you can't take, Martin Samuels and you can't take 4 right-backs. It's unnecessary. Just because you've got 4 brilliant right-backs, or no, 4 very good right-backs, it doesn't mean say you take all 4. This is where Southgate earns his money. Because I think you can get another maybe midfield player in or another forward in that you might need in the tournament. So I think if the source is, I think he misses out. And I think Reece James, the performance on Saturday might just have, you know, if it was level pegging between those two, I think it might just have given him the nod.
I think you made a great argument for it. It's a very, very difficult decision because all 4 guys that we're talking about now in that right back spot, top players,
yes.
And in good nick. They're all in good nick
at this particular time.
Yeah, yes. Nobody's out of form. It's not like there's a favouritism pick there.
No,
they're all in great form.
Yes,
I just think if we're not picking the likes of Trent Alexander-Arnold, if he's not in that squad, then the squad.
Who'd you leave out?
Well, no. I'm not saying that he's wrong. Like you just said, Southgate earns his money in this moment.
Yes.
This is what he's paid for. He has to make the decision there. And if he's leaving Trent Alexander-Arnold out of this particular setup, for me, who is the best out of the four when it comes to the attacking side of the game.
But he doesn't trust him going the other way.
Okay, that's fair enough. So therefore, if you're omitting players that are as good as that, then that surely must give us confidence as fans, as a team, that we're in a really good place. If we're omitting players like him out of the squad, if that's what comes true tomorrow, then we've surely got to be in a wonderful, wonderful position to go on and win it.
Well, I've said, Cat, man, I think a level par for us, and it's not being jingoistic, you know what I mean? We gave the football to the world, whatever, is semi-finals. I'd
agree.
I think that's level par. If you get semis, and anything can happen in the semis, anything with, a refereeing decision, can't it? Or, like an offside, well, whatever. Anything can happen, a worldie goal from the opposition. But I think that's levels. And then when you get in the semis, it's very much a toss of a coin. You've got that little bit of luck. Then have you got the wherewithal and the nous learning from losing against Croatia, obviously in the World Cup semis? These players are now obviously miles more experienced if they get to that position where they'd never been there before.
So it's a big call for the manager, this, isn't it? Here's a question for you, because we've got Gary, who's a Liverpool fan. We're going to get him on in a minute.
I wonder which way Gary's going to go.
Yeah. Well, I think I know. Well, but there's two questions I'll throw your way then. Do we have the players to win this tournament? Do we have the manager to win this tournament?
I think with Gareth Southgate, he's got to be more adventurous. I think I think he can be a little bit too cautious, because our strength is going forward.
Yeah,
it worries me a little bit at the centre half with Harry Maguire and John Stone, the pace. Because I think if Gomez was fit and flying, he would be one of the two, and it gives you more pace and balance.
That's why Kyle Walker's there, isn't it?
Yeah, because of the pace, exactly. In the holding midfield players, I think we're fine. Going forward, Raheem Sterling's out of form, obviously, so that's not great, because he would have been a shoo-in probably 6 months ago, which I don't think is at the moment.
But Phil Foden is now.
Yes.
He's playing.
But going forward, the talent with Jack Grealish as well, which he's going to be nailed on, because he gives you something different anyway. So Gareth Southgate's got to change his cautiousness maybe into our strength, without leaving yourself open at the back. But our strength is we've got to go and impose ourselves on teams. We've got to go and take the game. So he's maybe got to change his little bit. As an England fan, you look at the talent in the squad.
I think we've got the players. I'm unsure on the manager.
Right.
That's where I think we are.
I think with Gareth Southgate, there was a groundswell of goodwill towards him, obviously, after the World Cup. Mm-hmm. And I think since then, some of his team selections and some of the way that we've played, which has been sometimes quite slow and stagnant, that's what he's got to change. This is, the build-up, these friendlies. That's what he has to change. And he's got to be... I just think he's got to be braver. That's what he's got to do. And because of that, that's probably another reason why I don't think Alexander-Arnold will be in as well.
Gary, welcome to the show, mate. How are you?
Hiya, boys. Not too bad.
Hello, Gary.
We're just talking England, mate, and listen, it's not confirmed yet, but there's loads of rumours knocking about, and some trusted sources that we use here that are saying that Trent is not going to make that final 26. What's your thoughts, pal?
Well, I think it would be scandalous if he doesn't, in all fairness. Well, listen, if you go on holiday, you don't pack the same colour shirt, or you have the same shirt, and you've got to have versatility. You've got to, have a different option. Listen, right now, Gareth Southgate knows his best starting 11 in his head. He must do. Mm-hmm. Tactics. What he doesn't know is what the opponents, are going to throw at him. So you need to have an alternative route, don't you? You need to have tactically. With Trent, defensively, he's not. 100%, he's not the best defender in the league. But what he can do with the ball, no one else in that league can do, in my opinion. And you turn around and they're using it. Last year he got 13 assists. This year he's only got 7. He's still in the top 10 or 12, I think, for assists this season. But he's from a fullback, I don't think Southgate will be brave enough. I think Perry's right. I think he bottled it when we got beaten in the last tournament, because we should have carried on going at them instead of letting them have the ball, because they would off the boil, and then
they froze a bit in that semi-final. England froze a bit when they went 1-0 and for a 25-minute period, no one knew what to do. They were all looking at each other.
No leadership, Perry. There was no leadership.
No.
And on that, going forward, I think we're blessed. I do think we're blessed, but I think centre back where we will struggle. Yeah. We struggle massively, because at the highest level, Perry, and you'll know yourself, you only get one chance, one goal. It's not like you miss 1 or 2 chances and you go, one chance, one goal, because you're playing against the best players in the world.
Yeah. So who'd you leave out, Gary? Then you're going to be red tinted spectacles because you love Trent Alexander because he plays for your team. So the other fullbacks, who'd you leave out?
Well, what I'll say to you, that James was man the match in my booth the other night.
Yes.
But listen, do you go on games or do you go on one game? It's a big game, by the way. And I was going to say big game plays. You don't get bigger than that. You know, do you go on that? Because look at Steve Stone. Steve Stone, on the England team, didn't do anything, but he just flew into it because he had a run of good games. You want someone who's been there, seen it, and got the T-shirt. I know he's only young, but Trent has got that. But I know you might probably disagree with me, but I'd leave Trippier out. And the only reason I'd leave Trippier out is because if we're going to play to a certain system, I think the Spanish league is a lot slower. And I think it'll take him a bit of time to get up to speed with the lads around him because the Premier League players only know one speed. The Spanish league is stop, start, isn't it?
Yeah, but the thing is, with his defensive qualities have improved immeasurably under Athletic Simeone. He's if you look at him, he says himself, under Pochettino, it was like, close down, let's go forward, don't worry. And he's learnt the defensive side. That's why I think Trippier will be in as well, because he has got better defence. Because Atletico Madrid are built on solid defence and being difficult to beat. And in a 4. So that's why I think Trippier is nailed on.
It's going to be interesting how all this plays out. You're going to hear more on it over the next 24 hours here on talkSPORT. Make sure you with us all day tomorrow as Gareth Southgate names that final 26. As I'm telling you this evening, these are just rumours. Ramsdale, White, Godfrey, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Ward-Prowse, Saka and Watford.
Saka's a surprise.
He's had a great season.
And because of his versatility.
Yeah, on that left-hand side, absolutely. Listen, these are all rumours. Nothing confirmed as of yet. All the confirmations will be made tomorrow by the England manager, and you'll hear it here on talkSPORT.
The Sports Bar with Andy Goldstein and Jason Cundy. Monday to Thursday night from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.